believe we have all the right answers. We're perfect, and where we are is where we're going to be. But that we continue to have a mindset that we want to learn and grow. Because tonight, we demonstrated through humor that Kari and I were willing to move out of the bubble and learn and grow. And we're going to ask you, and we're going to ask this church family and all people that are part of God's family to learn to grow and never believe they're where you need to be.
Amen.
God bless you.
Amen.
God bless you.
God bless you.
Let's give it up for Heaven's Angels. Go, stop. Allow you to take your exit. All right. I'm sure Visiting Angels is on the way. Give it up for them. Helping out. And our ladies. A highly technical situation, a highly serious situation. We wanted to give them a little bit of laughter and a little bit of fun through that and kind of give a little bit more than we have in the past. So appreciate David and Kari for coming along. Appreciate the girls for playing along. And their whole goal was how do we get them. So we wanted to give them an opportunity for that. So thank you ladies very much for going through this. Told you he's going to do a little different stuff tonight, right? Just a little bit. So, debate really is one of those serious things as we move through. Now we move back to speech. So our next speech up, Miss Brianna, come on up.
Imagine, if you will, being in your car, approaching a stoplight. On your left, you see a young woman standing on the side of the road holding a sign that says, "Hungry, please help." You see car after car going on by, but not a single person stops to see what she needs. We've all seen this at some point. When she looks at you, do you make eye contact? When she waves, do you wave back? Or do you just throw up your index finger as a non-committal hello, but still avoiding eye contact? You think to yourself, what if I give her money? Then she goes and spends it on something that will hurt her instead of food. Can I, in good conscience, contribute to that possibility? Maybe not, but surely there's something I can do. This situation reminds me of the Good Samaritan in Luke chapter 10. Here's a little history. After the death of Solomon, the Jewish people divided into two nations, the northern kingdom, Israel, and the southern kingdom, Judah. Samaria was between Jerusalem and Galilee. The Jewish people from Galilee looked down on the people in Samaria because they were intermarried with other nations after being instructed by God not to do so. So there was strife between the people of Samaria and Israel. We all know the story. One day, a man was traveling between Jerusalem and Jericho. He was attacked, robbed, beaten, and left for dead. A priest came down his way and saw him, but instead of helping him, he walked on the other side of the road. Later, a Levite came by, but walked on without stopping. Finally, a Samaritan came by, felt compassion, cleaned his wounds, and took him to an inn. He asked the innkeeper to take care of him until he returns. He gave him money and told him if there was more money due, he would pay it when he would return. The Samaritan ignored social biases and did the right thing. What happened to the man is not unlike how we treat those on the side of the road. Most of the time, they are ignored. Have you heard the cliche, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care? The same goes for faith. You can tell them all day long that you're a Christian, but until they see it acted out in your life and until it affects them in some way, it's just words. What does it really mean to them? They want to see Jesus in you. They want to see your faith in action. Should we tell them, go, be fed and warm? Do your words make their hunger go away or give them warmth? James chapter 2, verse 18 says, Thus also by faith by itself, if it does not have works, is dead. But someone will say, you have faith, and I have works. But show me your faith without works, and I will show you my faith by my works. Our congregation decided to put our faith into action, even if in a small way. In the fall, we collected food and sanitation items to make what we call blessing bags. The youth group spent an evening putting these bags together. Then each of us took a bag or two and handed them to people in need. This winter, we collected socks, gloves, hats, and scarves, and handed those out as well. We could have prayed for them and told them to go be fed and warm, but instead, we chose to be the hands and feet of Jesus and show them we care. In the first part of Acts chapter 3, verse 6, Peter says, silver and gold I do not have, but what I do have, I give to you. I may not feel I should give money, but I can make the word of God come alive and share what I have with them. Meeting their needs, meeting them where they are, shows them Jesus in you. Our faith becomes something tangible to them. So, who should we be more like? The priest or the Levite who walks on by, or the Samaritan who did what he could? It doesn't mean you have to do something huge. Maybe it just means noticing who people are and showing them love and compassion. The girl with the sign isn't just someone on the side of the road. She's a real person with real struggles. We don't have to give her money, but we can give her food, water, kindness, and respect. We can pray for her and show her love instead of looking away. It might not change everything, but it's a start. Little things that might not seem like a big deal to us might mean everything to someone else. You never know how one small act of kindness, showing Jesus in our action, can change someone's day, maybe even their life. Thank you.
Those of you that have been coming for a period of time, you just see the evolution of our youth and how they continue to grow, not only in their skills, but in their faith. And so it's fantastic. So next up, we would have Mr. Lucas. Mr. Lucas is not feeling well. So Lucas, if you're online, we miss you. We hope you get well. And we'll just have to wait to convention to actually get to hear his speech from that stance. So up next, I will direct you to my right, your left, to the puppet stage, and we are ready for our puppet skit. Take it away.
Well, look who we have here. It's Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, straight out the furnace.
You're so funny, Anthony. Check it out, guys. Youth leader Anthony already cracking the jokes.
Well, it is like 100 degrees out here. I'm starting to sweat already.
Maybe because you're wearing a jacket. Anyway, we're all here, Anthony.
I'm so happy all three of you volunteered to lead our vacation Bible school this year.
Of course. I'm always looking for ways to help the younger generation learn about Jesus.
And I just love working with the kids on memory verses.
How about you, Stephen?
I was voluntold.
What?
I was sold on the idea when Brianna and Brooke told me about it.
Oh, that's great. It's been a joy watching each of you grow up together and go closer to God each year.
And we've done it together.
Yep, a team from the beginning.
And now we actually get to run a VBS. This is exciting.
And I couldn't do it without all three of you.
Thank you for having the faith in us to be able to pull this off.
Well, we haven't pulled it off yet.
Oh, ye of little faith. We got this.
I agree, Stephen. We've all come through the fire over the last few years, and now your faith is stronger than ever.
Well, some of those early years were a bit rough. Remember when we were in Miss Catherine's class?
Happy Sunday morning, class.
Good morning, Miss Catherine.
Now, class, we can do better than that. I have faith in you. Let's try that again.
Good morning, Miss Catherine.
Now that's better. Speaking of faith, that's what our lesson is on today. Imagine if God asked you to do something that didn't make any sense to you. What would you do?
I'd probably start asking God a bunch of questions.
Brianna, that's all you ever do is ask questions. That's why we never get out of class early.
Big surprise there. I have faith to ask at least 5 more questions before Miss Catherine gets to the meaning of the lesson.
Actually, that's a good start to our lesson. Sometimes our faith is strong, like Stephen and Brooke believing in an outcome. And sometimes our faith needs exploring and understanding, like Brianna's questioning.
Sweet, lesson over.
Boom.
So funny, you two. I have faith that if you two were my best friends,
You'd still love them anyway. Now, let's talk about Noah. God told him to do what?
To build a ginormous boat.
and fill it with animals.
And why did this require faith from Noah?
Because God said the earth was going to flood, but nothing like that had ever happened before.
That's right, Stephen. Noah's faith was so strong that he did the work of building the ark with no understanding of what was going to happen.
And that saved his family and all those animals.
Glad God didn't ask Brianna. She would have drowned before all her questions were answered.
You're probably right on that, Brooke, but that's why I'm the smartest.
Okay, back to our story.
And I still ask questions today, and that's why I'm always prepared.
Oh, really? Always prepared?
What? You don't have faith in me?
Let's just say if you told me to go walk on the water, I'd make sure it wasn't over my head first.
Jeremiah 17:5 does tell us that curse is the man who trusts in man.
Or a woman. Boom.
Nice one, Brooke.
So funny, you two. You're just jealous because I'm the cool one of the group. I have all the answers because I ask all the questions. And here's another one. Youth leader Anthony, what's the plan?
Leading and participating in VBS is a great way for each of you to do good work, show your faith, and help others learn in the process. You all attended multiple vacation Bible schools in the past, and others did the good work of organizing the events and teaching you guys.
So by doing this, we're showing our faith?
James 2:17 states, "Thus also faith by itself, if it does not have works, is dead."
That's right, Brooke. Faith isn't enough. And the last part of verse 18 states, "And I will show you my faith by my works." And that is what you're doing right now.
I never really thought of it that way. This just seems like the natural thing to do.
And for you, it is, but not for all. We need to be examples.
Yeah, I remember years ago in Miss Catherine's class.
Class, remember what we discussed last week? Moses had doubts that he should be the one to lead the Israelites. But when God tells you to do something, you gotta have faith and do it.
I can't imagine what the Israelites were feeling. They were leaving Egypt, and I'm sure they were tired and hungry and just had no idea of where they were going.
And then Pharaoh begins chasing after them, and their path is now blocked by this huge body of water.
They were probably trying to decide if it was better to give up or try and swim.
Their faith was probably lacking. And then God, through Moses, did what?
He parted the sea.
Yes, and what else?
The land between the two walls of water was dry.
That's right. And now the Israelites had a big decision, which was,
Do I stay here and be captured, or do I have faith that God will hold back the waters and let me cross safely?
that's right, Brooke. And it took a large amount of faith to take those first few steps.
But they did.
Yes, Stephen, and those first few examples of faith probably helped convince others to do the same. The act of trusting God and taking those steps became the works for others to see and follow.
I wonder what it was like to walk through a tunnel of water.
I think I would have been so scared.
I would not have wanted to go first.
And that's part of it. Having faith alone isn't enough. We need to be willing to take the first step. And you'll have plenty of opportunities in your life to take that first step and be an example for others.
And today is another first step, just like Miss Catherine said.
Yes, Miss Catherine knew what she was talking about, and part of her work was in teaching you three and lots of others to grow your faith.
Do you think we're ready for this? Do you think we can do this?
Ye of little faith, we got this.
Yeah, Brianna. Miss Catherine, Youth Leader Anthony, and others have prepared us for this opportunity. It's time for us to do this work and show our faith to others.
Brianna, to answer your questions, yes, you are ready, and you can do this. You know that yourself because you showed up today.
She didn't want to, but she was afraid she'd be swallowed by a big fish as she tried to run.
Keep it up, you two. Let's see how you guys handle the questions from the kids later. I know I'll be prepared. Youth leader Anthony, how many works do we need in order to show our faith?
No, that's a good question.
I think she just lit the fiery furnace. It's about to get hot in here.
Well, that's not really for me to answer. That's between you and God.
That's the safe answer. See, my questions require deep thought.
But it's the right answer. Think about it. We're all different, we all have different perspectives, and we all have different blessings. It reminds me of that lesson Miss Catherine taught us.
Okay, children, let's turn in our Bibles to the book of Luke, chapter 21. Brianna, would you read the first 4 verses, please?
And he looked up and saw the rich putting their gifts into the treasury, and he saw also a certain poor widow putting in 2 mites. So he said, Truly I say to you, that this poor widow had put in more than all, for out of their abundance have put in the offering for God, but she out of her poverty put in all the livelihood that she had.
Whoa, that's deep.
Deep indeed.
Except for the widow, all the others gave an amount they had set aside, but they didn't give all they had. Does that make them bad?
No, it doesn't. Stephen, who do you think had the stronger faith?
I say the widow since she gave everything.
And why is that?
Because others could tell that she had less, but she gave more.
Good, Brianna. And how do we know this, Brooke?
Because she showed her faith through her works, giving all she had, having faith that God would still provide for her, while others made sure that they had enough and trusted more in themselves.
Very good, Brooke. She gave everything and truly relied on God to take care of her, having the faith and doing the work to show her faith.
Well, she may have given less money, she gave more because she gave all.
She showed a greater faith.
Like in Jeremiah, she didn't rely on man, but in God.
You kids are so smart. You're going to do great things for the kingdom. It won't be long, and you'll be running our vacation Bible school.
That's scary. I didn't realize Miss Catherine could tell the future.
I don't think she could tell the future, but she could see each of you growing in your faith, and she could see that you had each other for support. We all have seen your growth, and we know you'll be an inspiration, not just for the children that attend VBS, but also for us adults, when we see you giving of yourselves and doing the works you do as an example of your faith.
Youth Leader Anthony, are you saying that we can influence those older than us? Those that have been Christians much longer than us?
Absolutely. God uses us in ways we don't even realize. Think of the woman who had been sick for years. Her faith told her that if she could just touch Jesus, she would be healed. Her intent was not to be an example, but through her faith, she was healed, and she was an example to the crowd that was all around.
I think I understand now. Anyone can say that they're a Christian, but how we act and what we do either supports or contradicts that.
Exactly. Saying you're a Christian just isn't enough.
Like John 13:35. By this, all will know that you are my disciples if you have love for one another, and our works convey that love.
That's a good supporting verse, Stephen.
I never would have thought, way back then, that the 3 of us would be leading a VBS now.
Me either, but I guess we just need to have faith.
But faith without works is dead. So Shadrach and Meshach, it's time to Abednego go get to work. Well, I thought it was funny.
So that's our puppet team for this year. We've got 8 participants, which makes it tight behind the stage at times, going through that. So that'll be a fun feat for us at convention to get everybody in there and lined up. So we have, obviously across the top row, you have Brooke, you have Stephen, you have Brianna, and you have Anthony. And then you have Catherine playing Miss Catherine, of course. And then you have Scarlett playing young Brooke, and you have Noah playing young Stephen, and then you have Savannah playing young Brianna. So that's our play for this year. So another thing I want to talk about while we've got a moment is our Pearls curriculum. So with LADS, we have this program, typically a 13-week program going through kind of the same verses and material as to centered around the theme. And so for the past several years, we've had that as part of our Wednesday night curriculum. And so that's been taught by Todd and Sarah and Ashley each Wednesday night, kind of going through that. So they're learning, they're gaining, they're going through that process. And then at the end, so typically in February or so, we have them take a test, which is online. It's 50 questions. And so we had 5 individuals that participated in that. So their scores kind of go in, and then at convention, we'll find out, and they recognize the top 10% or the top 10, depending on the category of that. And so that's one of the things that our kids will find out when they get to convention, how they've done. But I will say that our folks have done really, really well this year. So I would expect there to be some mentions of names from that. And so that's a good program and another way to keep our folks engaged in that. So up next with her speech, Miss Catherine.
4 years ago, if you told me I'd be standing here in front of you, delivering my testimony about Christ, I would not have believed you. See, I've only been a true Christian for a short period of time. About 2.5 years ago, I began my walk with Christ through my participation in LADS, as it's brought me closer to the Lord and built my faith stronger than ever. 2 Timothy 4 really shows how faith and actions are important to living as a Christian. In this chapter, Paul tells Timothy to preach the word, be prepared in season and out of season, correct, rebuke, and encourage with great patience and careful instruction. It's not just about what we believe, it's about putting our faith into action. Paul kept preaching and writing epistles even when he was faced with challenges. This chapter is a good reminder that faith is active. It takes patience, courage, and an eagerness to guide others to the Lord. For me, 2 Timothy 4 is a great example of how faith is more than just words. When God called one of my close friends home forever in August of 2024, my faith was truly tested. I couldn't just sit back and sulk until things magically got better. I had to do something. I found myself turning to God in prayer and surrounding myself with those who love me. After reflection and figuring out how to word it, I ended up writing and presenting my speech on this topic last year and how it brought me closer to God and built my faith. I have to act on my faith, as I've learned from experiences like that I can't just believe, I have to show that I believe. I try my best to be the light of Christ even when I am hurting most. While thinking about what to say, I found myself wrestling with the seemingly impossible task of finding something meaningful to me to speak about, or how to word it. I began to reflect on the last few years of my life and realized I am a living example of faith works. As a teenage girl going to a public high school, I realized that living in this world is a difficult task. Whether it's God feeling like he's abandoned us or the devil taking over those around us, whether it's those who harm others' spirit or those who chastise those different from them, those who turn on you or those who hurt you, we need to keep our faith strong, even in our dark times, and act as Christians by showing Christ's love to those around us. Even when I was in my darkest time, I tried my best to be the light of Christ. This brings me to James 2:17-19, which says, faith by itself, if not accompanied by action, is dead. It's not enough for us to just say we believe. We have to show our faith through what we do. In those challenging moments, I realized simply believing was not enough. I had to live out my faith by supporting others and offering kindness and letting my actions reflect my trust in God. James continues by saying, you believe there is one God. Good. Even demons believe that and shudder. This verse reminds us that faith goes beyond words or beliefs. It's about living differently, letting faith move us to act in love, compassion, and service. Every time I tried to show compassion to someone, even when I was struggling myself, I was putting my faith into action and living out what it truly means to follow Christ. As a once lost lamb, when I began my walk with Christ, I clung to the verse, Matthew 11:28, which says, come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. What if the weary and burdened don't know the way to the Lord? That's where we come in. We can help guide people to Christ and help them in their struggle. All of us, through our words, our actions, and the way we treat others, can become a living example of Christ's love. By showing patience, forgiveness, and compassion, we shine a light for those searching for hope and meaning. Sometimes the greatest testimony isn't what we say, but how we live and love in the everyday moments. Being a girl whose heart is on fire, I will always be open as a campfire to those who need love and warmth. As much as fire is seen as harmful and uncontrollable, it provides light and warmth to those who are cold and in the dark. Even those who hurt others or who are hurting inside themselves need to be shown the love of Christ. As I've grown closer to God and gotten farther in my walk along with Christ, it's become easier to love myself and show grace to others. We have to remember that our faith is not just for ourselves. It is meant to be shared. We have the responsibility and privilege to help others find the way to Christ by inviting them into our communities, walking alongside them in their hardships, and showing them the peace and joy that comes from just knowing God. May our lives inspire others just as they inspire us. Thank you.
If you haven't been inspired so far tonight, I got nothing else for you. So, for our last speech of the night, let's give it up for Brooke.
Can people see Jesus in you? This is an important question that all of us as Christians should ask ourselves. We're even encouraged to do this in multiple instances in Scripture. For example, it's perfectly said in 2 Corinthians 13:5, "Examine yourselves to see whether you are in the faith. Test yourselves. Do you not realize that Christ Jesus is in you, unless, of course, you fail the test?" Accountability is a theme throughout this verse, telling us to test ourselves and make sure that we know Christ Jesus is in us. We cannot show other people Christ unless we are an accurate representation of him. I've heard this saying a lot, and I'm sure some of you have too. It goes something like, "You may be the only Bible someone ever reads." For a while, when I heard that, I wasn't quite sure what it meant. So what does it mean? To me, this saying means that to some non-believers, we are the only image of Jesus that they will ever see. In our words, in our actions, in our choices, we display an image of who Christ is. We should aim for that image to be fact rather than fiction. This should be a huge motivating factor for us as Christians to aim to be the best portrayal of Jesus that we can be. So, how do we do this? How do we show Jesus in our lives? Short answer, through our faith. Faith is a combination of belief, trust, and hope in God. The biblical definition found in Hebrews 11:1 tells us, "Now faith is confidence in what we hope for and assurance about what we do not see." However, it's slightly more complicated than that. If we look at James 2:17, it says, "In the same way, faith by itself, if it is not accompanied by action, is dead." I'm sure we're all familiar with the story of Abraham. He is probably one of the first names that comes to mind when you think about faith in the Bible. He is a man who has been accredited as the father of faith, the man who displayed numerous acts of obedience and faith in God. Yet, he was not acknowledged for his faith simply by his listening and hopefulness. It only came when he trusted in God and put his belief into action. This makes it clear that we cannot display faith alone. It must be displayed through action. Action can be something very simple. Anything you do, do it in the name of Jesus. Align your will with his will. My freshman year of high school was not that great. I didn't have many friends, and the friends I did have I never saw or had any classes with. This led to me being lonely and sometimes even upset because of my lack of friends. Needless to say, that was a long year for me. Throughout the year, I was not as close with God as I would have liked to have been. Sophomore year came around, and it started off slow once again. I knew I needed to get back closer to God. So, I started praying. I prayed for friends and even for a relationship. I was instead blessed with lessons. I was confused and somewhat hurt, but I had faith in God's plan for me, and I continued praying. I was trying to be a better person and a better Christian. Then all of a sudden, it got so much better. Some of my newly made friends talked me into playing basketball, and that was one of the best decisions I could have ever made. Although the season didn't go that great, I formed so many relationships with people that I never would have talked to before. Through those relationships, I was also roped into playing lacrosse. Again, one of the best decisions I could have made. Lacrosse gave me an outlet for some of the negative feelings I was going through at the time, while also giving me a support system. I made some great friends on that team who took me under their wing and taught me a sport I had never even thought about before then. And even though I was finally getting what I had prayed for all this time, I still did not stop praying. The point is, actions must accompany our faith at all times. Even when we aren't getting what we want, even when we aren't yet seeing God working in our lives, and even when it seems like our prayers aren't being answered, faith and action must continue. I'm reminded of Hannah. She wanted a child so desperately that she was constantly in prayer to the Lord, weeping and begging for a son. Over the course of time, her prayer was answered, and she gave birth to Samuel. I aim to be like Hannah, who prayed without ceasing, showing her action within her faith. After Hannah was given her son, she didn't stop her action there. She kept true her promise to God by dedicating Samuel to him. Hannah's display of faith through her action of prayer not only blessed her, but by dedicating Samuel to the Lord, he continued blessing generations to come. In my story, by being given good friends, it not only blessed me, but gave me an opportunity to continue my faith-led action by sharing the gospel with those friends. Throughout these times, one question was always on my mind. Can people see Jesus in me? I wanted the answer to be yes. I wanted to lead people to Christ. And through my faith, Jesus has worked within me to where I can now confidently say the answer is yes. My faith is stronger than it was then. I'm much closer to God, and I will continue my faith-led action because I know that my faith works. Thank you.
Give it up for Brooke. So next up, we have mass communications. The storyline is something that rolled out in the past couple of years, and so leading that effort for us is Miss Leslie Garvin. Give it up for Leslie.
Okay, so if you know me, you probably know that I love anything connected to the dramatic arts. It could be clowning, it could be miming, it could be puppets, but my heart has always been theater. I have a background in theater. Before I moved here, for 7 years, I ran a Christian drama ministry called Creative Christians in St. Louis. But when I got here, Deep River only had puppets, which I had never done. Turns out, I love puppets. So I was able to do that for 11 years, but I never forgot what my heart was. And the reason why I love dramatic arts is because I think it's the heart of Jesus. How do we tell a story that touches people's hearts, their minds, and their souls? And so the opportunity to start doing Storyline, thank you for taking the chance on that, is really exciting. Now, it has a lot of boundaries that have been challenging to overcome. So for example, it can only be 4 minutes. It has to be based on the theme. And of course, there's all the other technical things that we've learned over time. Like this year, we discovered you do not put the mic behind the speakers because then you'll lose all their words. And so we overcame a lot of challenges this year. But it was so much fun because we had girl power. It was an all-female ensemble. And so I'm excited to showcase for you tonight Faith and Friendship in Action, starring Brooke Rutherford, Savannah Hamm, Scarlett Roberts, and McKinley Phillips. Light, cameras, action.
Hey Jess, can we talk to you about something?
Hey, Jazzy Spazzy. Aw, she still called you that? So cute. And you'll always be Sophie Bopey. What's up?
You know about the situation with Liv?
Of course. And it makes me sad. The three of you were inseparable for, forever.
Since first grade,
Well, what happened again? She just stopped hanging out with us.
after we put the cheerleading squad this year.
Did she know that you quit because they were getting a little too inappropriate with the dancing? You tried to explain to her.
But she isn't Christian, and she got really upset, said we were being too extra.
And then she started avoiding us and just hanging out with the other cheerleaders. Have you tried to reach back out?
Not really, but that's what we wanted to talk to you about. Her grandmother died last week.
Oh no, that's terrible.
And I tried sending messages to her through Instagram to tell her we were praying for her, but she didn't respond.
Yeah, and I sent a group text and she still didn't respond. Wait a minute. You guys are best friends for 6 or 7 years, right? Her grandmother died, and you decided to reach out to tell her you were praying for her through social media and text? You didn't think to call? In the high school Bible class, we're studying in the book of James about how we show our faith through our actions. Brother Todd made us memorize James 2:18. Show me your faith without actions, and I will show you my faith by my actions. Yeah, we know faith without works.
Is dead.
But what are we supposed to do if she won't talk to us? I have some ideas.
This is so fun. I'm so happy to be hanging out with you guys again. And thank you for everything you did last week. I love the handmade cards you sent me and the flowers. No one has ever sent me flowers before. And I also saw your messages, and it felt good to know that you guys were praying for me.
We weren't sure you got the messages since you didn't respond.
What? I didn't respond? Sorry. Everything has just been so busy the past week with my family visiting, and I was just so sad.
Sorry. I should have realized you were busy, Liv.
We're so sorry, Liv, about your grandmother. I remember when I lost my mom a few years ago and how sad I felt, and you were both there for me.
And you know it hurt when we quit the cheerleading squad last year.
We could tell that you were avoiding us after that.
What? I thought you guys were avoiding me for thinking I was a bad person for staying on the team. Honestly, I kind of agree with y'all with the dances and stuff starting to get a little bit too mature. Those girls are too boy crazy and too fast. I just miss this, having fun and being silly with you guys. I don't have to worry about the stress of everything else when I'm with y'all because of how serious you are with your relationship with God.
Really? We had no idea you felt that way. And if you quit the cheerleading squad, we will totally support you.
No matter what, we promise to be better friends.
And it really is a blessing to be a Christian, Liv. Maybe soon we can get together and talk more about our faith and what we believe. And you should totally come to youth group.
Yeah, we just had an all-night lock-in.
Who is it?
Jess.
Come in.
Aww, it makes me so happy to see you three together again. My Jazzy Spazzy, Sophie Bobby, and Livy Bibby.
I
Big
miss you too,
sisters.
Jess.
You know you love me. Anyways, Mom said the pizza's ready and that you guys are gonna watch Frozen. Seriously? I remember when y'all were in like first grade and you would watch it over and over again and sing and sing. It drove me crazy.
Oh, yeah? Well,
In that case.
let it go! Let it go!
So, a couple of things kind of round out a lot of our curriculum. There's an Art Says It program where we have folks that will be demonstrating pieces of art. We've got 3 folks that are doing that. We have year-round song leading, which we have one that does that. And we'll probably have some more in the future. And then we have Know the Books, which is 8 participants where they can either do the books of the Old Testament, the New Testament, or both. And then to an advanced level, they can go through all of the books and give the themes of each of those books as they go through them. So definitely can get deeper as they go on through the process. So it's time. It's time. So we have one senior to the group. So as we've done in the past, Anthony, we're going to have a conversation. Give it up, everybody. Have you a comfy little seat there. So it's your last little taste of lads, man.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. So I got a few questions for you. First question. What comes to your mind when I say Babalingo?
Wow, you caught me off guard with that one.
Wait. I know your superpower. Here, man.
Hey, you know what? I appreciate it. I'm gonna take this though. I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna use it. Okay? I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna use it. Oh no, there's no way you gave me a pack of gum. Hey, you know what though? This won't be first place.
So when we're at convention, Anthony gets up to lead his song, and myself, his dad, I think everybody affiliated with our church is like, no, he does not have gum in his mouth. Leads his song with his gum. I don't know that anybody got to him quicker than Ramon as he was coming back out of there. Like, what are you doing? And Anthony's thinking was, I may have lost a point or two, but I'm all right. And he was. I mean, it didn't matter. So
First place.
So he won first place with that. So that will probably be my biggest memory of you and the things that kind of went through, and just the funniness of the situation, how it was just right, nothing for you from that standpoint. So now, how long is it that you've been in Lads to Leaders?
10 years.
10 years.
10 years here, yeah.
That's a pretty long commitment. I mean, other than schooling that we're kind of required to do something kind of electively for 10 years, that says a lot about what you've got. So what's your favorite memory or your earliest memory of Lads?
Favorite memory, honestly? I'll tell you right now. Lads to Geezers? Are we serious? There's just no way you came up with that, and we didn't even know. None of us knew, other than I guess Catherine and Brooke. There's just not Catherine and Brooke. Gosh, that's crazy. That was just that nice skit. And then the earliest memory, I remember this was back at the old building, getting size for my little pads going up to the what's it called, the puppet stage, because I wasn't tall enough to reach over my hand over there. It was great, honestly, and developing the skills that I've developed this far. Those have been some good memories of mine.
That's good. So you bring up puppets. What's been your favorite puppet skit and why?
I remember this one time. It was the Jesus skit. I forgot the name of it, but I played Jesus, and every single time I would appear. Every single time I'd raise my hand out, it would just be like everyone would sing out loud, just I guess like a halo effect or something. I don't know. And everyone would just scream out Jesus, and it was great. I like that skit.
Okay. So with this program, and you've learned a lot of different things within the program. How do you think that this program has helped you the most?
Public speaking, no doubt. I've been able to. I was a shy kid. I was a very shy kid. I didn't want to do anything, talk to anybody. And through this program, I believe getting up in front of the crowd, in front of everybody, the personality that I've developed over the years was because of Lads to Leaders, because of the confidence that I built up throughout the years. Without it, I wouldn't be able to be right here with you guys and talking in a microphone right now without a care in the world.
Okay. So this being your last go around, what do you think you're going to miss the most?
I think memorizing a puppet skit is not going to be my last.
You're going to miss that, or you won't miss that?
I'm going to miss having that as my only worry. I'm gonna miss that.
Wow, puppets is his biggest worry. Not leading singing, not doing a speech in front of you, not doing debate in the past.
Yes.
Puppets.
Puppets, yeah, that was hard.
Okay.
I remember being scared of that.
So what's the thing that probably has you most excited this year as this being kind of your last year of participation?
I'm excited to give it my all. I'm excited to try my hardest in all my events that I have going on this year. Hopefully win first place, God willing. And to enjoy my last moments with, my leaders and leaderettes.
Okay. So as a parting gift to those leaders and leaderettes, what advice do you have for them?
Keep trying. Don't give up. There's no reason to. There's gonna be better days ahead. You're gonna hate sitting here for like 6 hours a day. I know. I hated it. It was crazy. But in the end, it all pays off. It pays off so well. Again, like as I mentioned before, the public speaking, the confidence that you gain from this, it's gonna translate to whatever you do. Your job. You might actually go into public speaking as a major or something. So continue with this program. It's helpful.
All right. Well, Anthony, I appreciate you taking a few minutes for us. Hope you get to enjoy today. I hope you get to take in convention from, maybe one last time from the eyes of a participant. And as we continue on, hopefully, then you'll have the eyes of a graduate, so to speak, and to be able to look at how you can maybe come back and help some of these folks as they go through the process, right? So let's give it up for Anthony, everybody. Appreciate you, my friend. One of my favorite things, and maybe not necessarily my favorite thing too, knowing that another one is leaving the nest, so to speak, and coming out. So, but it's, it was fun. You've got some talking to do with some of those pictures, right? He was concerned earlier saying, where'd you get these pictures? And I said, well, we got more. Those are just the ones we picked to use, right? From that standpoint. So with that, we are almost right on time. Each year, we do, again, this is our 5th year of doing it, and we always face our youth and what they're doing and how they're growing closer and learning their skills and their talents and developing them. And so I want to say thank you to Phil and Jared and Leslie and Debbie for being a part of the program today and getting up. It's often we talk about the nerves of our youth up here, but sometimes when you're an adult, you get those nerves too, right? And, I want to thank Jared and John and Jerry for the 3 J's for showing up for the favorite daytime talk show of the Pew to help me out. And I didn't write the line that says, why do I do this every year, that Jerry says. He just says that every year. I don't know from that standpoint. But I want to thank the mentors that work with each of our youth. I want to thank our Pearls teachers, our classroom teachers, all those that give time. I want to thank David and Kari for humoring themselves quite a bit today for our youth. And I think that's just a different side that I think most of us have never seen. David, it's a do-rag, okay? I'm not sure what that was, but that's what it was supposed to be, okay? But that's all right. I appreciate it. So from that, Alex in the back, man, we can't do it without you. Adrian, thanks for getting us all set up with other stuff. I mean, it takes a lot of people to make this happen. And probably the person that makes it happen more than anybody is Miss Kristen. And she is the one that, if we could just... She puts all this together. She puts all the tags, all your programs, the sheets to follow through, work on the props, all that other kind of stuff. Props out to Nancy Nelson, too, for those fashionable Heaven's Angels vests that we got there, so we appreciate that much, too. I appreciate this congregation for coming out. This was really nice to see the tables full tonight to support our youth. Appreciate the shepherds that allow us to do this each and every year and to allow us to work with our kids. And I remember 5 years ago a conversation with Adrian. He was talking to Kristen and I about kind of moving into this role, and he said, what we want to do is we want to expand it. We want to move it to a year-round program. And so we have tried to do that and added some other things over the years. And if you truly paid attention tonight, I think it's time well spent. And the seeing our youth and how they grow. These kids, they're not kids, they're young adults, are learning and growing and can hold their own. Some of these speeches are better than speeches I've heard adults give. They're fantastic. Thank you for allowing Kristen and I and all the mentors and all the helpers and all the supporters and the teachers to be a part of your world, because it means a lot to us too. So with that, come on up. Ladies and gentlemen, your lads to leaders, leaderettes, straight up leaders of now and the future, 2025, 2026. Let's give them a hand. That looked really coordinated, y'all. Nice job on that one. Okay. So thank you for being here. We have food. My understanding is in the lobby, so we'll open the doors. You can head that way. Say, take a moment to tell these kids the job that they're doing. Encourage them because in less than 2 weeks, we'll be in Atlanta where they'll be competing. And regardless of whether they place, you can tell they've already won by the things that they've done. So let's encourage them. And then the week following, we'll get up at the end of services and we'll let you know how they did at convention, okay? So if you would keep these folks in prayer and all of us that are traveling to Atlanta, we would appreciate that. And with